The new dance, Pastoral, is an examination of abstraction and narrative and how I can live inside that space. One of the ideas behind Pastoral was this idea of playing with tradition, taking our cue from Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, the dance, the sets, the music. It's using that tradition as a frame, but also erasing it and using that as the connective tissue for all the elements. Caroline Shaw is creating the music. I've worked with Caroline for many years. Not only does she make a space for her to support my work, but also shift the meaning.
There's something very direct and honest about how she makes work. There's an elegance and efficiency in her lines and in the movement and the composition of the space that I really love. We started talking a year or two ago about wanting to dive into an older piece of music. We talked about Vivaldi, then eventually got to Beethoven, something that engages with the concept of nature in art. Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, the Pastoral, is what we ended up landing on. There are these bits of poetic text that set up each movement, which describe walking through the countryside, a thunderstorm. They paint these scenes of the outside, and then he creates them with the orchestra, not always literally, but sometimes quite literally. And the thing that I've been thinking about in making music for this is my own relationship to nature. And with Sarah Crowner's paintings, she's made these beautiful organic shapes, which are beautifully colored canvas stitched together. And she also has I think a really musical sense of composition in her paintings. The space between blocks of color, the balance of shapes, the balance of line, which are things that I think about intuitively in music all the time. And I think that Pam also does.
I basically started with shades of green and shades of blue-green because I wanted to be a little bit literal with the idea of the pastoral and the landscape. But then there are these sort of white body-like shapes or limb-like shapes that appear on these green grounds that to me refer to the dancers' bodies or a dancer's pose, maybe a leg or a limb in front of a green background. And so the idea of the dance and the idea of a pose has worked its way into the paintings.
What I think is really important about the collaboration between Sarah and I is that she has a real interest in theater and in dance. So it's not just, oh, we're doing a set for this dance. Like, it's a true collaboration where we're both really interested in how this can change the space.
I've always thought about dance. I've always thought about the material side of the theater. There's something about stage design, set design, that has always sort of influenced the paintings that I make. And to be able to have the opportunity to have these two worlds combine in a very real, official, professional way is like a dream come true.
This is my fourth SummerScape performance and my third major work as the choreographer in residence at the Fisher Center. I've created Four Quartets, Song of Songs, and I'm really excited about Pastoral because it's very different. Pastoral is, in a sense, a reaction against the more literal story-like pieces that I've made. And there is more openness and more freedom in that. It would not be possible for me to create this work without the Fisher Center. Not only do I get to keep making my work, but hopefully my work is changing and artistically challenging, and I get to have the space to experiment.